We do not have enough time in the class to do corrections, okay, so we shall do it here. Now this is solving of simultaneous equations, and many of you, when you reach this step, ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, right? Then from here, you are either supposed to factorize or to use the quadratic formula that I told you to can use the calculator to help you to get the answer. Okay, so most of you have done that. Now if you get an answer like that, which means that your calculator answer is a very long answer, right? You have to show the quadratic formula working. Okay? Substituting in your A, B, and C into the quadratic formula will give you 1 mark. So if you don't show that working, you will lose that 1 mark. Alright? So that's the first thing. The second thing is, if these are not ugly numbers like this, then you don't need to use quadratic formula. For example, let's say the answer is 2 over 3. When you press calculator, it's 2 over 3 and 5. Let's say it's minus 5 lah. Let me change accordingly. Okay, quite a few of you did it this way. Okay, you reversed it. You remember I say make this one 0, make the right hand side 0, so you minus 2/3 both sides. This one you minus 5 both sides. Then I told you this is your answer, this is your answer, right? But I told you specifically in class that when it's a fraction like that, right, you cannot just simply write it as a fraction like that. All these must be integers. Okay, all these must be integers. So how do you do the working? As mentioned in class, you remove the denominator first, so you times 3 to both sides. Okay, then you minus off 2 to both sides, so you will get 3x minus 2 equals 0. So that will be your factor here, as in 3x minus 2, then times this x plus 5. Okay, this is then correct. If you write the original, if you can't remember what I written here, you write this in fraction, right, we will mark you wrong. Okay, so what if you get, your calculator tells you the answer is 1 and 1/3, then how? You convert it into, using your calculator, 4 over 3, then you remove the denominator, then you make the right hand side 0, so the 3x minus 4 is this factor here. Okay, alright, so this is the very important thing that you must know. Okay, and for solving of simultaneous equations, see carefully whether the question simply asks you to solve or the question asks you to find the coordinates. Okay, and let's say the question asks you to solve. You know, simultaneous equation has x and y, right? You cannot just find x, example, okay, you have to find both x and y. Okay, so if the question just says solve, you find x and y only. No need to put in the point form. Those of you who the question asks you to solve only, then you're going to give me a coordinates, right? For example, in this case, let's say you give me 1, 2, mark you wrong. Okay, so read the question carefully for simultaneous equations, see what they want. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is this one, which I told you many of you will make this mistake if you don't follow my method. Okay, there's a reason why I ask you to do things in a certain way. You see, quite a few of you make this mistake. You took out the 3 already, that's very good. You put the doggy here, that's very good. And then you check this one time. This one divided by 3 is this. This minus 6 divided by 3 is minus 2. And the x is here. So everything goes well. The problem, you see, the problem is in your daily work, if you can make this mistake, right, in exams you definitely will make this mistake because you are rushing. Okay, to you during exam, you actually have completed the square already, but to the examiner looking at you, your final work is not. Okay, because where is the complete square? You have totally ignored the square, you see. So this is why I said the best thing to do is to, have a template, right, like that, leave a blank space here. Okay, then the doggy remains here, then you fill in the blanks, and then this is already here, and then this minus also already here. You will not miss out this. Okay, So please follow the method. There's a reason why I asked you to do it. Otherwise, you will lose marks for nothing. Okay? So this is not just one or two people. It's a lot of people making this same mistake. Okay, the next thing I want to say, point number 3 is this. Some of you still asking me when to flip. When to flip. You only flip if you multiply both sides of the inequality by negative, or you divide both sides by negative. Okay? If you plus both sides by negative, you don't need to flip the sign. If you minus both sides by, let's say, 3, you don't need to flip the sign. It's only when you times or divide by negative, then you flip. Okay? So that's the third point. Now the next point is, okay, I also told you you will make this mistake. Alright? See what is the mistake here? You complete the square. This is x squared. Very good. This, you just need to divide this by 2. You don't put the x here. Okay? You don't put the x here because you see, you put here x, right? X minus x. Actually, it's 0 square, no? It's 0 square. You see this person, only one of you lah, but as in I'm only showing one of you doing this, but actually quite a few of you did this. It's actually 0 squared. So you are saying this whole thing is actually 0 minus 1, which is minus 1, not wrong already. Everything here is wrong. Okay? So you must be very mindful. One of them is an x term, the other one is a number. Where you get the number from? The coefficient of x. You divide by 2, you get minus 1. Don't have the x. Alright? So you really must practice, and then you make mistakes and then learn from there. Okay, now that is number 4. Number 5, alright, I want to tell you this. If you want to prove that, let's say example, I don't know what this question is. Let's say now prove that it's always positive, right? Let's say this is b squared minus 4ac, or this is a function. You want to prove that it's always positive. After you have proven that it's greater or equals to 1, this thing that's written in red must be there because it's the main concept being tested. Okay? You cannot just leave it hanging here, greater than or equal to 1. Cannot. You must state that it's greater than 0 because that is the concept that we are talking about. Okay? Then this one I just want to show you. See this person, you know what's the problem? The problem is, again, never use the template that I asked you all to use, and then try to skip steps. You know what I mean? I normally in my working, right, I will have this square box, then I complete the square, all done already, then I multiply in, right? Okay, I told you to do it systematically, but you see, most of you who go and skip all these steps, right? You see, under non-exam condition, if you can make this kind of mistake, under exam condition, you confirm will make even worse mistakes. Alright? So you just take a close look at this and then check out what is the mistake, alright? And see whether you agree that you should actually use the template that I taught in class. Now next, this one, wait. Oh, this one is sorry, repetition. Okay, I want to show you something else. Wait, oops, sorry. Okay, next is I want to go back to this simultaneous equation because a lot of students every year they miss out on marks because they never read instructions. Okay, so in this question they say find the coordinates of the points of the intersection. So you must have coordinates. Okay, and if the question says let's say P, Q, X or Y, that means they call the 2 points X and Y, A and B, or P and Q, or M and N, or whatever, right? You must label this as M and N or A and B or whatever, based on whatever the condition is given. If they never give you any condition, right, then you can either you call it A, B, or B, A. But if they give you some condition, then you must read the question carefully. Then